Hi guys, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, we are taking a look at the Tier 8 Roman Cavalry, the Italian Noble today. So, if you watched my video on the Tier 8 Numidian Cavalry, the Carthaginian Cavalry, you would have saw that I was really quite enjoying them. And I have been, I'm still playing them, I'm working towards the Tier 9 Carthaginian Javelins now. And yeah, really big fan of those as a cavalry unit. But around a week or two ago, I unlocked these Roman Tier 8s, but I've not really played them. I actually did it as I was grinding Scipio up for the Massinius Guard premium unit video. So I ground Scipio up to a Tier 8 Commando, and I also got onto the Tier 8 Roman Cavalry as a result. And I thought, since I was sort of singing the praises of the Carthaginian Cavalry, I thought, well, it seems only fair that I then just have a bit of a comparison with the Romans. I have these guys a bit of a go, because these have got quite a lot of positive stats about them, and you know, it could be kind of an interesting video to see how they compare, particularly as I'm playing the Numidian Cavalry quite a lot at the moment. So, I have not got these guys really upgraded at all other than the first sword. It does make quite a difference to the weapon damage, which is kind of one of the main attributes of these guys. Although, you know, I still want to get the refined Sparta. That gives us more impact damage and more just actual combat stats as well. We've got an awful lot of upgrading to do with some of the body armour. Also increases charge impact as well, which is good. And we've got some movement speed bonuses that we can grab from some of these greaves as well. So, all in all, looking pretty good on some of those things. So stat-wise, what are they like? So they're Romans. At this tier, they're actually a really good unit. Some of the previous Roman cavalry, sort of the tier 5s are not great. The tier 6s are okay. Tier 7s, a bit middling, but these guys seem pretty great for their tier. Pretty much comes down to their attack and defense values, just very high. First off is the melee weapon damage. It's just insanely high. I mean, I'm not even fully upgraded yet, and we're at 264. I am running with Weaponsmith though, which is giving plus 11. So yeah, 264 is a really high weapon damage. That means you're going to be doing immense amounts of damage in hand-to-hand to other cavalry and infantry as well, because you're almost always going to be exceeding body armor and shield armor values. So that's a really nice thing, because that means you can put out a good amount of damage. On top of that, they have reasonable penetration. It's very solid melee attack. You know, running up near the 160s, or they are into the 160s, 164. Quick maths. Not sure if that's quite right or not. And then on top of that, they have really good defense values. One, they have that high melee defense, which is nice, particularly combines well with, obviously, with Oath Perseverance. And they actually have a really quite high body armor value. Although we've still got quite a lot to do working on that upgrade-wise. But you know, we are, what, 142, which is not a bad base, combined with obviously got shield armor as well, 33. We've still got a bit of upgrading on this, so you know, it gets up to another plus 17. Plus you get a bit from the helmet, and you get a bit from the greaves, depending on which one you want to go with. So yeah, I think there's quite a lot to add on to these guys. So I think we've got quite a lot to look forward to in that sense. As I say, I'm running them both with consumables with Weaponsmith, just for the extra weapon damage, because I think that's kind of what they're all about. It is amazing hand-to-hand combat ability, so to sort of exacerbate that and work on that seems to be the logical thing to do. And War Steeds, for all of its abilities really, body armor is great. Mostly the impact damage, you know, it's going to push that charge up, make it a little bit stronger, and their melee attack as well. I'm going to quickly check how their impact damage compares to the Carthaginians. Yeah, it is a bit lower. The Carthaginian impact damage is normally rocking sort of around the 240, 250 mark. Plus they have the Numidian advance, and they get a bit of impact damage from the charge. Although we get plus 30 or 40%. Yeah, 40% impact damage from these guys as well. So perhaps not all that bad. Anyway, let's hop into a game with these guys and yeah, see if we can cause a bit of trouble with them. So we are loading into Capua. Not exactly the sort of cavalry map I would have chosen for these guys. Looks like we've got almost the entire Roman team by the looks of it. A couple of Greeks and a Carthaginian Hannibal in the middle. What have we got cavalry wives? We've got some other Romans, a couple of units of cavalry kicking around us. We can expect there to be some cavalry on the enemy team. Obviously, we are top tier, tier 8. Obviously, with the matchmaking as it is currently, we're always going to be getting top tier, which makes these guys a little bit nicer to play. Oops, face the sky. Don't want to be doing that. Where have I gone? What was I going to say? Words. Yeah, charge impact guy on these guys is really low, so I'm not really expecting to be able to win anything in terms of head-on charges on any enemy cavalry. So really, I'm going to be looking for fights where I can either dodge the enemy charge or get involved in existing fights where I can sort of bring my damage, my high weapon damage to bear, without actually having to get stuck into a charge in the first place, because I fear that's going to be the sort of thing I'm going to end up losing. So initial sort of scouting, what have we got? We've got some Roman infantry up there, and a little bit of cavalry kicking down around the bottom. I've not really got that much up here. We've got some Greeks hiding in the grass here. Not a lot at the start, really, that interests me. there's some of the Carthaginians here. If I can catch them in hand-to-hand fighting, then I'm confident I'll be able to win. But to be able to actually do that is pretty difficult. Not really a lot going on around here that I feel like I can get involved in or exploit, so that's why I'm going to be pushing a bit further down here. They're going to go for the average toss. Well, they left that a little bit late. They risked getting a heavy infantry charger there if they weren't careful. We've got a bit of cavalry, friendly cavalry kicking around in this town. Some infantry, some archers there. They're actually relatively undefended if they're not careful. Weren't you gone for your ray shields? Oh dear, that was an error, wasn't it? Right, let's split you off around that way. See if we can maybe catch some of these Numidians. It's going to be hard though. They've got the speed on me, so it's not going to be an easy one to do. Those Romans should really push to the back of those archers. It's exactly what they want to be doing. Move up with these guys. Come on guys, a little bit of extra strength and you'll be in a really good strength spot here. These Romans, I really wish they'd push in, be a bit more forceful, and I think they have to do a lot. Got to clear this corner. We're spread out a little bit far. I'm not going to do a very nice charge here. I'm going to largely hit myself. Right, let's push these units around. Don't go... Okay, you're going the right way, that's fine. Let's get our weapon damage, let's get our war cry. See what damage we can get in. We should do some immense damage here per hit on these guys. They're obviously going to try and make a break for it and run. Understandable. Let's go for some charges. They're just going to stand there. You know, we have a really nice long charge with Scipio, so we've got a really reasonable chance of this sort of thing. Right, what have we got? Let's start getting some weapon damage on. Keep an eye on our morale here on this unit. Just in case it drops any further, I'm going to have to absolutely smash that Oath of Perseverance so we don't rout. But it looks like we're climbing back up, so we're not worrying about that too much. I've got a unit I think should have... No, we've got all our strikes going on at the same time. We're absolutely slaughtering these Numidians. You know, as I expect in this sort of situation, we should be able to. And we're killing these archers pretty well. This is kind of the forte of these guys, is this sort of situation. And I think got a bit of damage from the enemy archers who are now raining in fire. We do need to think about trying to get onto these guys soon. If we can kill off the last of these Numidians, that would be good. Or pull a unit out, which is of course the other option. I'm going to go for. Oh, we're going to hit the wall. Ah, that was... Sometimes, you know, I don't know what I'm thinking. You guys deal with them. You lot should be trying to kill these Numidians, which we are doing in hand-to-hand. You know, we're actually winning that sort of engagement, as I would expect us to be able to. Still taking a lot of fire from these enemy archers, though, which is a bit of a pest. Let's get ourselves moving again. Should be able to get another charge off. At least knock the bulk of these guys down, stop myself before I hit the wall, and let's start to get damage on them. Okay, those Numidians are now dead, so let's start to finish off these guys. Just get rid of the rest of these archers, and that's kind of one of the major threats of this game, done and dealt with them. Get onto those guys. These enemy archers are routing, and that is pretty much game, set, and match for those archers. So that kind of goes to show in hand-to-hand how these Romans, and basically bear in mind these are pretty unupgraded Romans, fare against the Numidian Cavalry, you know, really are just superior. It looks like our own base is actually now kind of under threat, so I'm inclined to pull back more than I am to cap, actually. Is my thought process so far. Although with those Blood Riders going around, I'm going to send a unit this way. And then I'm going to send 2 units back to decap. I'm going to send a unit this way just to see if I can intercept these Blood Riders, because I reckon they're going to come around this corner to try and go for me. I'm just going to sit on the edge here. And with a very uneducated guess, I'm going to go, they're going to come around here soon. It'd be lovely if I met them just as they cleared here. A bit late, but I'm going to get them on the charge. There we go. That's sort of roughly what I was trying to do. I was a little bit late, but we'll do it. And we'll get some free damage on them as they sort of run past me. You can see the hits we're getting well into the 200s. That is exactly what we're looking for in terms of damage-wise. So we've got the rest of our units pulling back just to find their units in our base, which is what I was trying to do. Where's this unit gone? And at the same time, we are doing a reasonable job of keeping these Blood Raiders away from getting the decap on us to stop us from capping out their base. And that's kind of one of the things I find you have to do with these Romans is that there's no... Because you're so much slower than everyone else... There we go, we got out on the cap in the end. Because you're so much slower than everyone else, you are never going to be able to charge down barbarians in any sort of open ground because, you know, they're nigh on double the speed of your unit. So the only options you've really got is to try and sort of effectively get the jump on them if they don't know you're there, or, you know, they're not expecting you, because you have got that very long 5-second charge. So that sort of situation where you can sit round a corner. Particularly, you can often work because so in that sort of situation, I guess that's where the barbarians are going to go, because that's really the only logical option of them heading that way. So therefore, if they're going there, sitting in such a situation where you can get a nice little straight line charge into them, sort of works quite well, because then it's also hard for them to get a charge off against you, particularly where in the sort of situation where these guys often lose in head-to-head charges. So yeah, hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight into how I try and catch enemy cavalry, because you know, it's quite tough as the Romans to do it with that limited speed. Because once you get stuck in, the weapon damage is just so immense that it's really not a problem for you. I find you saw there the sort of hits we're getting on the rears of those barbarian cavalry were almost up to 200, some of them. So you cut down those units pretty ruthlessly quickly, particularly when in return, at least once you've upgraded, the amount of damage you're going to be taking is pretty negligible because your body armor values are just going to be so high. So anyway, hopefully that gives you a bit of an overview of what these guys are like. Lets you know a bit sort of how they play. Yeah, they're certainly a solid unit. I don't prefer them to the Carthaginians, in all honesty. I think they are much more forgiving to play than the Carthaginians, but I think they lack the flexibility. I miss the charge impact of the Carthaginians, meaning that I can often stand a good chance of winning in head-to-head charges. And yeah, no, it's not quite as nice in my opinion. I also miss the mobility, the speed, the base movement speed is much nicer on the Carthaginians. So yeah, they're not my favourite cavalry, but I think they are actually really tough tier for tier, particularly once they get fully upgraded. I think they're going to be pretty powerful unit. So a lot better for newer players, particularly you know if you make a lot of mistakes, because they're very forgiving in the body armor and defense stats they have. Anyway, that's my rough overview of what I think of the Romans so far. I'll have to play these guys a bit more, get their units a bit more upgraded, and probably have another video on them then. Anyway, I think I've talked aimlessly more than enough at the end of this video, so thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about them in the comments down below. Should I have to give a go with them with Sulla? So there's an option as well. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Subscribe to the channel for lots more Total War Arena content, and I shall see you all on the next video. Thanks, guys.